Welcome back to Black on Black. You know me, I'm Chase the Hijacker. My man here with the red sunglasses is Addy G. Peace, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Trust me, he's not in the daze, he's fully focused. And we haven't been in the studio for a while, but we're talking about our next show, which is going to be that new Eddie Murphy Netflix series, My Name is Dynamite. But it hasn't come out yet. That comes out in October, so we figured, hey, Addy, go home and watch some of the old stuff, like the original Ruby Ray Moore's Dynamite, right? But we also mentioned Black Dynamite. So we're going to kind of like swim into blaxploitation as we usually do around these films. Yeah?
We could do that, but I thought that let's let you follow. I don't like to focus on one, but let's dive right into it then.
Alright, man. So, I mean, you told me you had checked out Black Dynamite and everything. Now this is the Black Kung Fu action film. Came out like in 2009 with our man Michael Jai White. Everybody knows Michael Jai White. He's the hardest working brother in the business. And
the really strange thing is that everybody is the hardest working man in business.
This is indeed true, bro. We're all hardworking and everything like that. But this movie, I mean, it should have had a sequel. It had a cartoon and everything, and there was promised a sequel in 2018, which was only last year. But hey, what can we do? I mean, I think this movie was so good though, and everything. You said you had just watched it.
Yeah. I thought I'd seen it before. Parts of it I remember. And watching it again is a great film. It's not like, okay, you have some films where you want to look at what the story is.
There's no story, bro.
what the thing is, but sometimes you need to capture, like this show was all visuals, it was all emotion, it was funny, and it was silly.
And really loud sound effects.
Yeah, and it was less of a film and more of a visual comic book, I think.
Definitely, man. I mean, that's why it was perfect to become a cartoon, because it was very cartoonish in its style, because it was like, it's hard to satirize something that is already satirical, right? So because they were like satirizing blaxploitation, it already started from a joke and they tried to make it funnier. Like, for example, you remember Tommy Davidson, who was from In Living Color, played his little brother who gets killed, called Jimmy, but he also was called Jimmy Cream Corn, right? You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, it was like trying to make a joke out of a joke and everything, but like make it so that way you recognize the tropes, and everything, like Honeybee and all these different characters that they had in there. My favorite thing is, what always comes to my mind is like, because Dynamite coming back, usually coming back from the war or whatever, right, to take revenge on the people who killed his brother, right? So that means he was involved in drugs. He's like, I'm going to take out all the drug dealers in the neighborhood, And then one of the drug dealers happened to be sitting there going, but Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the kids in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? I just love that, because that's the thing that just zings into my mind about this story. So it wasn't really. No, I'm just saying it wasn't really like I should say, it's not like it has Shakespeare, as far as like characterization and storyline, but it really did tap into the zeitgeist of blaxploitation. What do you think?
I think that maybe it does have some deeper poetry to it. Maybe not necessarily Shakespeare, but a lot of these older, maybe Nordic stories where gods go away and come back. It's all of a sudden like this person who was so important to us went away and the place went to hell, and now he's back. Now he's watching him come to stand for the people, on the side of the people.
Yeah, I mean, because when we started talking about blaxploitation shows, it always was about that. It's like somebody who left and came back.
Yeah.
And but also too, from the kung fu vent of this, like I was saying, as far as women, looking at some of the things that this was satirizing. So one of the main things, we got like is Jim Kelly, who was a success with Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. Then they decided, hey, let's give you your own show or your own film, which was Black Belt Jones. Did you ever see Black Belt Jones?
I have seen it before, a long time ago.
Yeah.
That could be our next film.
Well, no, exactly. Yeah. But that's what I'm trying to say. I think this is one of the things that Black Dynamite is satirizing, is the fact that, like Black Belt Jones, I mean, Jim Kelly was phenomenal in his thing. But, we also have, like, the fact that Black Belt Jones is, I guess it's not the first time, that they satirize these type of period, because you got I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, with Keenan Ivory Wayans, and like they had a Jim Kelly type, played by I think it was like Stan Jones or something like that. Stan Shaw, who was famous. I mean, he's one of those faces that you see in every movie, but you don't know his name and everything. And Stan Shaw, I gotta look that up. Yeah, and everything. But you ever see I'm Gonna Get You Sucker?
No, I haven't seen it.
What? Are you serious?
It. I am quite serious.
Oh man, but I street cred just went out the window.
I always like how these movies try to shape up an ideal of what a black man's supposed to be back in like the 70s.
Oh yeah,
in this land. Because at the same time they always had black men fighting with their fists.
Yeah,
doing kung fu. It was the strongest thing. I think it was a sense of a protest at the same time against the way they treated Japan and the East and and the Orient after the war.
Yeah.
And I think that was always a direct response. Thinking back, that would mean that all these communities had a united front, a united fight.
Well, it's kind of always, you can say it goes back to bare knuckle fighting, but I mean, like, it was always about, see, that's what's great, in a way, that's what's great about the 70s compared to today, because you can always have a fist fight with someone, get punched out or beat them down or whatever, and then go home. Now it's like, or eventually became somebody's pulling out a knife, and then now they're pulling out guns and everything, and it's just gotten more and more horrific. Whatever happened to that simple time when it was about a fighter and a kung fu. Let me just also make a correction to Steve James, again one of those faces, right, who played Kung Fu Joe and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, you know what I mean? But like, it's just like, it was a classic like scene where he's doing the whole woo, like Jim Kelly stuff and everything. But he's like one of those faces that you see everywhere in every movie, like the Exterminator and all that. But yeah, I mean, growing up in the 70s, in New York, it was always about, fighting, fist fighting, and all of that. But it's never as it got to now to this point. And I think that's another reason why I thought it's nice to talk about this type of film and these type of things, because that's when times were simple. And I know you come later than me in that whole vein, but we've grown up looking at that kind of stuff where the fist fighting is definitely the monicum internet. It's like what people did, and it was okay to lose. That's the thing too. I remember being in several fights where it's like, punched and hit the ground, and I'm not thinking about, I'm gonna go and get a gun and shoot you. You know what I mean? You lost the fight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you're not from my era, bro.
I've never lost a fight in my life.
All right, man. Just saying. Some people lose. It's okay. Come on, bruh. It's okay. Now you trying to like puff up your chest and everything. Say, I never lost a fight in my life. Anyway, back to Black Dynamite and the whole comic blaxploitation. Have you ever seen Undercover Brother?
Yes.
All right. See, now that's the type of film we're talking about. So what did you think about that one?
Well, I don't want to stray too much on Black Dynamite, but you could definitely see, we have a character that people try to exploit, and there's a character that we want to say that bet your bottom dollar if something like this comes out again tomorrow, we will go and see it, because for some reason we have taken this imaginary character and put ourselves in it. That person is the strongest of us. It's us.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the main thing about it is that all of these stories are the same. You know, like when we talk about there's only 12, stories and plots. Or the blaxploitation film is always the man. The man is the enemy. There's one enemy.
Yeah.
He's the man. We have the super brother.
And the premise could be as ridiculous as they have a drug to shrink addicts.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And so
steroids.
It's born in this point of somebody smoked a little too much weed.
Well, it's born in fear, bro. Fear of the blackness.
Yeah, but what I mean is that it doesn't matter who the villain is.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't matter what the plot the villain it could be. As ridiculous it is, and I think it comes down to the point where we may even make up our own, kind of things to go ahead with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so this Undercover Brother was 2002, so it's not that far from before Black Dynamite. But I mean, what it is that it starred Eddie Griffin, the comedian, and everything like that. And but it had people like Dave Chappelle, and then when he was doing his acting bits and stuff, and even like oh man, I forgot his name, the guy from I don't know how to get your mother or something, Doogie Howser. Let's just call him Doogie. Doogie Howser was in it. It was written by a black guy, so that's really cool. John Ridley, yeah, and he's still writing today and stuff like that. But so what I was trying to say is, it doesn't stray from Black Dynamite. It's really kind of like the origins of these are the films that were made, after the blaxploitation period and to the love of the blaxploitation period, to the point where we get to Black Dynamite. Yeah, so that's why, I mean, it wasn't that far of a swimming off the reef that I was doing. It was like, kind of like bringing us back and forth.
What do you think?
Keep an eye on there because it's about... Yeah.
Huh?
Okay, cool. Got it. So I'm just saying is that...
Yeah, you just said. So tell me, what do you think, in this show that really works? What works that makes it not just this regular show? What makes it, that show that you always go back to?
What are you talking about, Black Dynamite?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it's the comedy, but it also helps that like Michael Jai White is a natural, real kung fu fighter.
Yeah.
And he's known for
American Ninja.
Yeah, American Ninja.
Which
but he also was the superhero in Spawn before this as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He was, yeah. So you know what I mean. It was kind of like we're fighting for him, we're rooting for him, and everything. And like now he's like on the Arrow on the DC universe, and and I'm hoping that we'll see him in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Big plug for that. But hey, Michael Jai White, man, I'm loving it, but that's what brings me to it. Is
I think you're right.
The real fighter.
Thinking back about it, he is like a real life superhero.
Well, for us, man, he should be because I mean, he's worked for years, and and he's always been consistent as far as like a good thing. It's just about the scripts, like you were saying that he helped in the writing of Black Dynamite and everything, and because it's like one of 3 writers, which he was one, and the whole deal is that he's really serious about wanting to get like a heroic ideal out there. You know what I mean? Like I saw him doing an interview on Collider the other week and stuff, where he made this movie called Triple Threat, had like Steve Atkins in it and all that other kind of stuff, and he just like really, but he also was working with other like Yuko. I think it was Yuko Uwais, the guy, the TIE fighter from Ong Bak, and the guy from the Raid. I mean, Taika Chen and stuff. Triple Threat. It's on Netflix, man. It's really good. But I don't mean that movie with Ben Affleck. But I'm just trying to say is I'm rooting for Michael Jai White to really kind of like find that role.
How old is he now? He's in his like.
He's got to be
50s.
Yeah. But the point about it is the man is cut. He's fit. And he's still in fighting weight. I mean, it's that whole deal of like, I don't think you could put him in a ring, funny enough, right? He actually appeared in the Dragons film on, I think it was now on Netflix. They did this like 50 episode story of Bruce Lee and his journey, and he actually played like one of the black characters and it was like that, helped him get into the martial arts game and stuff. So, I mean, I think he could kick our ass. You know what I mean? But he's doing his best out there. you know, and everything. But going back to these blaxploitation heroes, that's why I thought it was interesting talking about Black Dynamite, because in the last show we were talking about Dolomite, and we were talking about how Eddie Murphy is kind of like making a comeback with the story of Dolomite and everything, which looks really good, by the way. We kind of like looked at the trailer for it.
Can we ask ourselves some questions? I have
Okay.
utmost faith in Eddie Murphy, but to be a devil's advocate, could he possibly have become like George Lucas? Can we expect
George Lucas?
what I'm
That's
saying?
like a left field. What do you mean?
I'm saying that there was all this raw talent magic that happened at a certain time, and when it comes to repeating it, lightning doesn't strike twice at the same place.
See, I don't know where George Lucas came from in that.
The reason I said was that after Star Wars, after the first three, and then his return to Star Wars again, we were,
Did he return? Did he? I mean, like, the thing about it is, you gotta understand, George, George was riding a wave.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like if you take sidekicks or partners, yeah? Let's just say, George was like Tonto to Steven Spielberg's Lone Ranger. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I could do this too. He had a lot of support in the early days.
Yeah.
Not just from Steve, but from the other rising Raging Bull filmmakers like Scorsese and Coppola and everything else like that.
Yes.
But so he had a particular set of skills, which was he understood this digital technology before everybody else.
I'm not talking about that.
I'm just saying, there's no
talking
comeback
about-
for George.
Exactly. Is there a comeback for Eddie Murphy?
Yes, there is, because what Eddie is doing is, do you watch Netflix, mate?
Yeah.
All right, so have you seen comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld?
Here's what, right? The Eddie Murphy episode is in my queue to watch.
Man, you need to watch that. That is really good, because there's a humbleness to Eddie in that episode and everything, where it's kind of like, that's a very good question you're asking. Can Eddie come back? And the answer is yes, if he stays humble, right? So, for example, right, Eddie is actually, when he comes back in the fall, which we're in the fall now, he's actually going to host Saturday Night Live for the first time ever. Think about that. It's been on for 40 some odd years, and it's the first time ever. And because of a misunderstanding, right, he left the show and everything, something that David Spade said or whatever, probably reminded him about, yep, I am black, right? But when he came back for the special a couple of years ago, they had like the big 40th special, and he at least came on, but he refused to do comedy. Yeah, everybody talks about this big special and everything that Eddie was on, and he was introduced, I think, by Chris Rock. He came on and just said, hi, yes, I'm here in the audience, and we got it. So people were wondering, is it just because he's still angry, or does Eddie not have the funny anymore? And because his films have always been on this kind of downward slide. But when he does acting, like what he did in Dreamgirls, everybody's praising him again. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So this Dolomite film is Eddie doing Dreamgirls, but as a comedian. Yeah? I think that's why this is going to be phenomenal.
As you say that, I think that's what I think I almost like what you just said. I'm not sure if Eddie can do ha funny.
Nah, I don't think that's in him anymore.
But I think that he could do this kind of funny that's funny enough, not slapsticky.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's
Yeah. I mean, Eddie was always a storyteller.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then again is the fact that Disney killed him. Disney killed Eddie. They neutered him, man. Because like making him do all of those like Disney fine Dr. Dolittle, Haunted Mansions, Pluto Nash.
Who's like Eddie Murphy now?
Who's like Eddie Murphy now?
Who kind of almost
like
similar.
Who trying to make a comeback?
as you talked about his path in it,
Yeah.
Will Smith has that same almost kind of
Well,
because Disney sanitized Eddie,
yeah, they did.
right? I think that there has been a part of Hollywood to sanitize Will Smith also, and he's trying to come back, and he tried to come back in Suicide Squad. He tried to come back in the one before that.
He tried, but
Yeah.
Hollywood didn't do that to Will. His wife did. But like the whole thing about no, it's true. I mean, like the thing about is what you should have asked was like who when you said who's like Eddie. Have you seen the trailer for Bad Boys 3?
No, I haven't seen it.
All right. Well, you gotta watch that because we waited forever for Bad Boys 3 for Will and Martin to kind of like make up and be willing to. Martin Lawrence is that Eddie Murphy that you just asked me the question about. Because Martin Lawrence did a huge disappearance, Sydney, and everything. He was huge. He was on top. He could do no wrong, And then he went psycho on the highway one day.
That's just what I was supposed to say.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm just trying to say. Come back from that, it's been really like huge. So for him to actually finally commit to doing the film, he also had to commit to a weight regime as well. He looking at the trailer, he's back, right? Doing the same thing. Now, with Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the whole point is that answering your question, comebacks, I wouldn't say comebacks are hard, but it's how humble you are. As I said before, it's about humility.
I think actually right now is a time that people crave the kind of retro kind of feel.
Of course, because it's like 20 years.
Because it's tangible too. I always make that thing. You watch a film now and nothing is real.
Mm-hmm.
You watch Star Wars, you watch, Avengers. Nothing is real. Nothing you can touch. Everything's on green screen and CGI and all this kind of thing. And people still crave that. So when maybe we go back to Eddie, who has all this experience and not just putting on dots on a face and having a CGI as a body, he put on a costume. He has that last link to how we feel to seeing things that are real.
Well, I'm going to ask you. I mean, keeping an eye on our time, is that like I'm curious what you think about. I mean, I know we started talking about Black Dynamite, but we have moved to Eddie Murphy. I'm curious. What is your feeling or opinion of Delirious?
Delirious from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think Delirious is comedy genius. Mm-hmm. It still stands up today. You can look at it.
Does it though?
You can look at it, and the last time I saw it, sat down and looked at the entire thing, might have been 10 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
I saw it a month ago.
And what? It's no longer funny. Is no longer funny.
Oh my God!
I find it hard to believe that because even the mere thought of the word is hilarious.
See, this is look. It's just interesting because everything was a product of its time.
Yeah.
Right. We were in a totally less PC universe then.
I'm not even going to judge it. If you're going to start talking PC.
Well, this is my point. This is my point. Is like it's just something that is going on now, where they're even actually ripping Friends apart now, the TV show Friends, right? Which is supposed to be a classic, but now they're ripping the show apart because of Fat Monica. Yeah, and despite the fact that every time we saw scenes with Fat Monica, she was only supposed to be once, and then she just became kind of like a secondary character at some point in time. Is that like, when you look back at it now, when somebody tells you to look back at it now, you go, oh, well, maybe PC, that's not really proper. But it was funny. And Eddie Murphy was hilarious. Delirious was hilarious. Raw wasn't that great, but Delirious was hilarious. But I found myself like, skipping through Netflix, and I'm like, oh man, Delirious is on. Nobody really, and I'm watching it. And then I'm thinking, I'm laughing, I knew this would be funny, And then it got into the whole, like, gay jokes and, and all this other kind of stuff. And then I started to go,
listen to me.
And then I turned it off because it was kind of like, oh my god.
We can leave that for a bigger discussion about PC.
Okay, man, I'm just saying, man. What we talking about, Eddie?
Let's have for our show next week. Let's talk about these specials. We haven't had to talk about.
I'm kidding.
We haven't talked about Dave Chappelle's show, right?
Well, hold on. Wait, we got 5 minutes.
No, we don't.
Wait. No, we do. Because I just want to say, I love that show.
Hold on. Let's.
Oh, come on. Okay, don't tease. Don't tease the audience.
I don't know. I'm a man that takes my time and I put everything in its right place.
You have not seen it? Have you not seen it?
You know me. Yeah? And next week we are going to take our time to
let's go after Dave Chappelle, bro. Because
Dave Chappelle and these other Netflix specials.
Yeah.
And I would also like to bring up a little bit of Monique next week as we're talking about Netflix.
Did you say Monique?
So
what do you mean Monique?
So from us at Black on Black.
And yes, I am confused, brother.
Confused.
What do you mean Monique?
I'm Adeji.
Alright, man. I'm Chase, the hijacker.
Chase the Mace, Adeji for Black on Black, and we're out.
Alright, man.